Robert Graves said that Le Morte d'Arthur remains an enchanted sea for the reader to swim about in. But what makes it a kind of green world sea? One element is the background of magic and Celtic otherworldly themes, mixed with the supposed history of Arthur and his kingdoms in the days after the collapse of Roman Britain, along with an ancient mystical Christianity. The theme appealed to the context of the times of Thomas Malory. Malory himself fought on various sides of the Wars of the Roses, which lasted from 1455 to 1485. Earlier, he had been a knight in the wars in France. The Wars of the Roses were the result of the accession to the throne of Henry Bolingbroke, the son of Chaucer's patron John of Gaunt, in the aftermath of the social disruptions caused by the Black Death. In many ways, they were a continuation of that disruption, which involved the fall of the old Norman colonial regime of feudalism in England. Malory, like other earlier Green World writers, sought a new beginning for England in primordial myths, and found in the Green World model a way to subvert colonial hierarchies and replace them with mystical views of nature. He himself seemed in need of redemption given his criminal record. He stood accused of crimes including armed robbery, rape, attempted murder, and several prison escapes, although these accusations may have been related in whole or in part to the politics of his day. The Green World model offered a countercultural approach to nature in more ways than one. During the so-called High Middle Ages, starting with the Norman Conquest until the time of the Black Death, scholasticism and feudalism had built a sense of static hierarchy in Western European society, and also a new sense of male individualism. Julia Kristeva, the French psychoanalytic theorist and semiotician, has described this new individualism of the High Middle Ages in terms of the symbolism of the Christian Trinity as a kind of master symbol of the age. Kristeva explains that during this period a new symbolic sense of the Trinity emerged, which emphasized that the Holy Spirit proceeded from the Father and the Son together. This could lead to a marginalization of the Holy Spirit, which was believed to be the source of energies or grace flowing through the natural world of creation. The melding together of the Father and Son, in effect in this model, Kristeva argued, created a stronger sense of Western individualism and individual desire, but at the expense of relational desire and personhood. Older mystical symbolism of the Trinity described it as involving the Holy Spirit proceeding directly from the Father alone, even as the Son was begotten of the Father. The three were interrelated, but there was not the binary between the subject of the Father and the Son together and the Holy Spirit as object. All this represented for Kristeva something about the Western psyche. The real and imaginary as modes in the formation of the self became forged together, forming an individualism that merged reality and imaginary self-concept. This was set in opposition to the symbolic, represented by the Holy Spirit, or the meaningful relations and networks of life, which became in effect, in her view, open to manipulation by the Western model of individualism. To get back to Malory and the Green World, we see in Le Morte d'Arthur a continual reappearing or reemergence of the symbolic or relational as something that is out of control of the male individuality of Arthur and his knights. There is magic and otherworldliness often associated with the feminine. The Wars of the Roses, after all, were ended by Henry VII of Lancaster's marriage to Elizabeth of York in 1485, the same year in which Le Morte d'Arthur appeared hot off William Caxton's printing press. And Henry, whose family name was Tudor, claimed descent from the Welsh lineage of King Arthur. In Malory's stories, there is a continual reminder coming from earlier myth and earlier Christian notions of mystical hierarchy referenced by Kristeva, that the world of Western individualism formed by scholasticism and feudalism, which formed an important basis for the modern West, is not the only world.